Good evening. Welcome to A Child's Point of View, children's television talk show. Tonight we have some amazing guests on tonight. We're going to start out with a different segment. We're starting out with a happy news desk. Our Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation children has happy news to give. We have so much bad news that we read about in the newspaper, we see on TV. So the children are going to give you some happy news today. First, I want to start out by giving all honor and glory to God. And we have Miss Jayla right here. She's going to open us up with prayer. So may we all bow our heads in prayer.
Father God, we thank you for bringing us all here tonight. We thank you for the show that we get to do. We ask you to bless each and every one of us. We ask you to bless the ones that don't have anything. We ask you to bless them with a home and food. We thank you for all the food, shoes, and clothes that you bless us with. Amen.
Amen. Good job. I see you like praying. You're getting used to this. She's getting used to doing this.
You can't make me laugh.
She always opens up prayer, too, at our building. She opens up a lot in prayer. The first thing the children do when they come in the building, they link hands in prayer. They all say what they're thankful for that day. And it really touches my heart to see the children being so thankful and putting the Lord first in their life. And that's what we really need nowadays, to have God first in our lives, because with all that's going on in the world, we need him. We really do need him. So right now I'm going to turn it over to our Happy News Corner. I'm going to turn it over to Miss
Wojciechowski.
Oh, see, I have a problem pronouncing the name, and Jayla's always on time. What's her name?
Miss Wojciechowski.
Miss Wojciechowski.
And Mr. Reynolds.
And Mr. Reynolds. Okay, take it away, News Desk.
Welcome to Happy News Desk Corner. And my assistant here would like to start first.
First of all, I'm not your assistant, but let me introduce myself. Welcome to the Happy News Corner. My name is Janaya Wojciechowski. And I would just want to say what we have for the happy news. Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation Children has been doing several fundraisers to raise money for our traveling express for our Disney trip.
Did you know that Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation children are going to go on a field trip to Disney World through August 5th through August 12th, and the date is going to be 2017. And also, we would like to thank Mrs. Marva Rowan.
Shout out, Kiara Roach James has been with us since she was 13. Now she's graduating high school June 8th.
She is?
Yeah, and going to college. We just want to give you a big congratulations.
Oh, another Happy News Corner desk is the other day when me and my family was at the buffet, I ate so much chicken, my belly started going. I felt like I was pregnant and stuff.
How do you know what pregnant feel like?
Cause I was just feel like it.
Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation free meet and greet fundraiser at Clarin the Bell Hotel, 1612 DuPont Highway, Newcastle, Delaware. Friday, June 2nd, 2017, 5 p.m. through 8 p.m. All proceeds benefit Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation children.
Oh, I think it was last week or something like that. But we was having a car wash, we was having fundraising and stuff. And everybody was there just cleaning the man window. When I went out there, when Miss Margaret told me to wash the kids, I seen that man window. It was sparkling. My eyes was hurting.
We would like to thank all the children in the Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation for making honor roll, and every single child of Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation is moving on to the next grade. Whoop whoop!
Another time is when is when we went bowling after church, and we all made a strike. I was the first one to make a strike. Everybody was just hovering over me, saying woo, woo, woo.
And the happy news is that the girls a couple months ago, we went to Atlantic City and we had so much fun. The first day that we went we got there a little bit late, but the first thing that we did was got our bathing suits and we went down to the pool. We didn't stay there for a while, but it was fun, and luckily it wasn't so deep because I could not swim, but oh, thank you. And we just was playing. We was just having a good time. We stayed up. All of us stayed up until like the next morning, like.
And y'all didn't bring me no food. That's me.
But yeah, it was fun.
I think it was the other day or something, is that when we went on this field trip, we went to the Sixer game. We all had fun, but then they canceled it. But whoa. It's a happy news corner. But this other day is when we all got to play outside. We was playing kickball, and everybody made a home run. And when I kicked it so far, everybody made we ran home and we got a lot of points. It was fun.
And it's been a lot of warm weather, so yeah, we go outside, we have fundraisers, and we just raise money for our trips that we've been going on since we're having a lot of people support us. Now back to Minister Guy.
Thank you. Good to hear happy news for a change instead of all the things that we hear. Right now we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you. Welcome back to A Child's Point of View. Right now I'm going to introduce our guests. We have some amazing guests on tonight. We have Miss Casey Jones. She's the owner of one of the Avis rental car sites. We have our newly elected County Executive, Matt Myers. We have my friend, Miss Sandra Pitts over there from One Village Alliance. So we have a great show. We're going to send it over to the children who has prepared questions to ask. So take it away.
Good evening. My name is Malachi, and I am in 5th grade, and I go to Pleasantville Elementary School.
Good evening. My name is Adriana Hutton, and I go to Southern Elementary School in the 5th grade.
Good evening. My name is Taha, and I'm a 5th grader at Pleasantville Elementary School. Mr. Myers, can you explain what your biggest responsibility is?
Thank you, Malachi. It's a great question. Thank you to Malachi, Adriana, and Saha, to Pastor Guy, Stop the Violence Prayer Chain, everyone in Colonial School District, and all the parents for at least providing the transportation tonight. This is really a wonderful opportunity to talk to our future.
Yes.
And the most important thing I do is I make sure you guys are doing your work every single day in school, getting your homework done, planning to maybe learn a little bit this summer, doing a little bit of reading every single day, because that way I know that our county, Newcastle County, has a bright future. Okay? But if you're not doing your work, we don't know if we have a bright future.
Miss Jones, how are cars replaced if renters have an accident?
That's a good question, and thank you for having me. Her question was, if a vehicle is involved in an accident, how are they replaced? Well, luckily we have a maintenance department that can repair most of the vehicles, unless they are a total loss, which can unfortunately happen, and then we just buy new ones. But the important thing is that our customers are safe and not the vehicles. We care more about them.
Miss Pitts, can you explain what your biggest responsibility is?
Good evening. Thank you for that question, Saha. And thank you, Minister Guy, children, for having us. I think my biggest responsibility is being able to not only respond to the many questions that children have, but the many needs, and really figure out strategic ways through an organization that I started called One Village Alliance to create programs in collaboration with children, families, community members to really respond to the needs and provide resources to transform communities and make sure that we have a lot more happy news and work to eliminate the bad news that we hear too much of, I think. So.
Mr. Myers, why did you want to run for office?
Malachi, this actually was the second time I ran for office. The first time I ran was in high school. I was an 11th grader. And a lot of people told me not to run. I wasn't the most popular kid. Everyone said I didn't have a chance, but I believed I was going to win. I looked in the mirror when I woke up each morning and I said, I'm going to find a way to win, and I won. Similarly, last year, nobody knew who I was. Nobody thought I had a chance. But I knew I had an idea for how our county could be run better. A lot of people didn't believe me at first. I talked to my parents. My parents thought I was a little bit crazy. But I kept pushing. I kept believing. I listened to people. People were criticizing me, and I listened to them, and I used the criticism to try to make myself better and improve my campaign. And eventually, we were fortunate, and here I am today.
Miss Pitts, how did you get the idea to start the One Village Alliance?
These are great questions. Thank you. So the idea to start One Village Alliance came from my experience as a child. And I had a great family. My parents really instilled a lot of integrity and great work ethic. And, you know, we grew up on a farm right in South Jersey, right outside of Wilmington, about 25 minutes from here. And it was all the makings of a great childhood, but we didn't have community organizations like Stop the Violence Prayer Chain in my neighborhood, and we were dealing with a lot of issues like, you know, racism and growing up in poverty, the classism and bullying, and a lot of things that children, you know, were facing, not only in my home growing up with my 7 brothers and sisters, there's 8 of us, but also in school and in the community. There was just a lot of needs that kids had, and I hated school. Sometimes I was hurting. I went through a lot growing up, and I always said that I wanted to help other children that were experiencing some of the same issues that I was facing, and just to make life better for children. So starting One Village Alliance was an idea that allowed me to start a Healthy Girls Initiative, like Girls Can Do Anything, to teach girls how to have really positive self-esteem, deal with bullying, and, you know, realize that beauties don't bully. It allowed me to start raising kings to really change the image and expectations of men and boys of color, like we do every single Thursday. In fact, I'm just coming from Ferris. And celebrate fathers through things like our fatherhood celebrations. So those are the things that inspired me, and I really feel fulfilled, like I am helping children and families who went through a lot of the same struggles that I went through as a child and that my family did as well. So.
Miss Jones, on average, how many cars do you rent a week?
Well, I would say per day we average about 30 cars. Unless we're having a really fabulous day, then it could be upwards of 45. But we really do try to look at a bigger picture. We look at things annually because it is very difficult to do the math per day. Because if you have a pretty bad day, you can get very discouraged. So we try to step back and realize, you know, the bad days will happen, and, you know, look forward to a profitable year.
Yeah, I have a question, and I also like to thank you, Sandra. It's Chandra. I'm sorry, my allergies is really getting me. for coming to our building and really coming to speak with our children at Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation. It really made a difference. It really did.
It made a huge difference in my life. I find that thank you for inviting me to come speak. It was a packed room. You all have to go and really understand where these questions are coming from, because they're full of them if you go visit. But it really was rewarding for me. I think I got more out of it than the children. So
yes, and I'd like to thank you for that.
Yeah.
And also, we at Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation, we really use Avis quite a bit when we're going on our road trips, because we have an older van. We have a 1999, what is it, Chevy or something.
I think you have an express van, Margaret.
and it doesn't go far, so we always go to Avis when we're going on the long road trips, and we do a lot of educational road trips for the children. So we always go to Avis, and they always make sure that we have a nice, passenger van that we can take our children on trips for. Yeah, so.
And we appreciate that.
I know.
We do.
We always make sure we have a nice discount, so we appreciate that. Yes. Jayla, do you have any questions?
Well, I think I have one for Miss Jones. Who or what encouraged you to be what you are now?
Well, that's a very good question. I think that a bit of entrepreneurial spirit is going to be natural. But I do have to credit my mother, who is also a small business owner and has been for the past 15 years. She has really instilled a lot of hard work ethic. She works very long hours, and growing up witnessing that, it really does encourage you to, get out there, put the hard work in. We have no laziness in our household, so.
Okay, great. We have a question over there.
Yes, Mr. Myers, considering everyone that you've met in your profession, what personal attributes do you find essential for success?
These are tough questions. You guys, you should.
Excuse me, can you introduce yourself and let them know who you are, if you're one of the parents? Or?
Yeah, I'm one of the parents. I'm Kyoko's father.
And your name, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is John Rowe.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, John. What are the personal attributes in my professional experience that I think are critical to success? I had a cousin, my mother's first cousin, who was extremely successful in New York. He moved to New York. He didn't have a job. He started driving a taxi like 30, 40 years ago. Wasn't making much money. And then he got a chance to work at a bank. And he was just honest. He said he was honest, and he was trustworthy, and he just worked hard. And by doing that for years and years, he became extremely rich and successful. And by the time I was a kid, I just knew him to be this extraordinarily rich and successful guy. And he told me very early in my career, be honest and work hard. You only have one reputation. Yes. Reputation's everything. You have chances in your life, both in school, as a child, and as an adult in your professional life, to cut corners, maybe make a little money here and there, maybe get away without turning in your homework. But in the end, you find when you do that, you often lose out. Exactly. Ultimately, you get a reputation. And it's hard to change a reputation. So as long as you stay honest and work hard, sometimes you'll succeed. Sometimes you'll learn you need to work a little harder. But eventually things do work out.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back with our guests that we have sitting here. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're back. I forgot. I need to shout out to Marva Richardson Roy. I want to give a shout out to her and thank her for all the amazing things she's doing for the children at Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation. We're just so grateful for you. Okay, we're going to take it back now to the children.
Hello, my name is John. I'm in 5th grade and I am at Southern Elementary.
Good evening. My name is Kyoko and I'm from Southern Elementary School.
Good evening. My name is Tyler and I'm in 5th grade and I go to Pleasantville Elementary School.
Okay, Miss Jones, what is your favorite car?
I'm glad you asked that. My favorite car is the Chevy Tahoe. That's going to be a 7-seater SUV. Gives you the Bluetooth, the reverse camera. It has a lot of safety features. So when you're old enough and you have a license, maybe you can come down and we'll get you one of those.
What's your favorite? Ask him what his favorite is. What's your favorite car? Yeah.
I don't really know a lot of them.
You don't?
But, my dad owns a Yukon. It has 7 seats. And I like it because in the back there's speakers too. So if when you sit in the back, you can actually hear the music. And it's just like, yes. Instead of just like asking your parents to turn it all the way up, like, it's all right, I'm turning it down. And then you're like, I can't hear anything.
Great.
That's probably my favorite car.
Uh-huh.
Miss Pitts, we read that you were inducted into Delaware's Women's Hall of Fame. How did that make you feel?
How did that make me feel? When I was inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame, wow, you all really done some research. I appreciate that. I'm still overwhelmed just hearing you say it now. I felt overwhelmed. I felt really blessed to have had so many great individuals in my life currently, those who raised me and those who came before me. Because without people guiding and mentoring and parenting you, like all of the people in this room, I know I would never have had the opportunities afforded to me, and that was one of the most amazing opportunities that I've had in my life. I also felt a great sense of responsibility that came with that recognition to all of the young people in my life and the generations who will come after me. So to be a part of history like that was something very significant, and it really made me realize how important the legacy that we're living and leaving is. So I was overjoyed, I was happy, and felt a great sense of gratitude and responsibility. So thank you for asking that question.
And I like to add that you do an amazing job. I'm proud. I'm so proud of you.
You inspire me. I really appreciate you. All of you. I'm inspired by all of you and the young people. Sometimes young people are almost like mentors to me as well. So
yes.
Mr. Myers, is there a specific teacher who made a lasting impact on your life?
Miss Stannis. Tyler, it's a great question. Miss Stannis, I've had a lot of great teachers, but I will never forget Miss Stannis. I was not the best behaved kid by the time I was in 2nd grade. And I had a 3rd grade teacher, Miss Stannis, at the old Shipley School, since closed, up on Shipley Road. And Miss Stannis, the first day I called her mean. I was crying. But she was, I was really crying. I'm not just saying that. She was tough. Anything, you had to stand up straight. You had to do your work. You had to turn it in. If she was expecting great things and you did good things, it wasn't good enough. And she made sure you knew that. And she always expected the best of me. And by the time I was done 3rd grade, I was straightened out pretty good. And so I've learned from that. I actually went back and I spent 4 years as a teacher. And I always remembered that you set a standard for yourself and your peers, and you stick to that standard. So thanks for that question, Tyler.
Miss Jones, what are the requirements for renting a car?
Well, we'll start with the driver's license. That is primary. So unfortunately, if you came in, we couldn't help you right now. But yes, you would need the driver's license. We require a major credit card currently. So those are the only two things you need. Other than that, you're welcome to come.
Even if you're under 25, you can rent?
Well, we do rent to under 25. You have to be at least 21 though. So we have a few years for you.
Miss Pitts, what was your major in college?
Good question. I didn't go to college. It wasn't a part of my plan, and you know, while education is fundamental, and I started an education agency, it's the most important thing that I encourage among young people. And you know, there are so many different paths to success. And I think when you talk about success, it starts out with passion, purpose, a plan, and persistence. And that plan is critical. So if you go to college, you know, whatever major you choose, whatever you decide to do, it has to be tied to your plan. And what I wanted to do in my life, college wasn't a part of that plan. When I left high school, I went to work abroad in communities of impoverished children. I believe Matt Myers shares the same experience of traveling abroad, and I got to live and work in Jamaica for a couple of years. We actually started a school there. So I've had some great experiences. And we have a very dynamic team, including a young college student that's with me this evening who's graduating in a few weeks. I'm excited that he's one of the individuals that inspires me. He just won the University of Delaware Leadership Award. So Gary Johnson is here, and he's an awesome part of our team. So I didn't go to college, but I got my college degrees all around me. Thank you for that question.
Matt Myers, we have noticed that you have had several careers. Can you explain your career path to us?
Tyler, you're asking me the hard question. You didn't tell me it was going to be this difficult. Similar to Chandra, I let my heart kind of lead the way. I went to college and I was very into politics. I was very interested in politics and government. In my dormitory freshman year, the guy who lived right next door to me, he was from Sri Lanka, a country called Sri Lanka, right next to India. And he spoke English in a way that a lot of us didn't understand. And I was at the time 19 years old and he was 21. He was 2 years older than me, which when you're a first year freshman in college, that was like, we called him grandpa. And we didn't take him very seriously because he didn't speak English the same way that we spoke English. 3 weeks into my college career, I was starting to learn a bit about political theories, and my friend Supriya from Sri Lanka reprogrammed a game called Tetris. And every night, we went to Supriya's room to play the latest, greatest video game that he produced, and we thought that was the coolest thing. So I, by my second year in college, was a political science and computer science major because I wanted to make cool stuff. I didn't just want to use cool stuff, I wanted to produce cool stuff. And that started a path where I got involved in trying to change the world a little bit. I started a footwear company in Kenya, in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the world. I thought, as a 22-year-old, what if we go to where people don't have, where they don't have enough, and instead of just giving stuff away, we teach them a skill. So they actually learn to produce something and sell it all over the world. And we did that with footwear, a company called Eco Sandals. For like 4 years, nobody would buy these sandals. And next thing you know, we got a break or two, and we were on CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, all these leading TV stations around the world were covering us and looking at what we were doing. I then came back, I went to law school, I became a lawyer, I had an opportunity to go to Iraq. I got appointed to be a diplomat in a place called Mosul, Iraq. And then I came back home ultimately. I wanted to take all those lessons I learned and put it to creating a better future right here in Newcastle County. We have very serious problems here. I saw some serious problems when I lived in Kenya, and I saw some serious problems when I lived in Iraq. But we have some real serious problems right here too. The incredible thing, Tyler, Kyoko, John, you guys you probably know how to solve those problems just about as well as a lot of these adults do. So I want you to make sure, just like I decided last year, to make sure my voice is heard, make sure you get your voice heard too, because I'm sure you have a lot of good ideas that can help us make a better tomorrow.
I have a question for the children up there. Can each one of you tell me, with all the pain and the things you see in the world and in Newcastle and Wilmington, can each of you give me an idea, if you had a choice, if you was a leader, what you would do to change it? Do you have any ideas that what you might want to do to make it a better place to live, a better world? Okay,
I have an
first.
idea. Usually since my parents are divorced, my mom comes to pick me up. Sometimes we pass by Dairy Palace, I see some homeless people walk by, and it just fills me with depression and sadness, and I'm just thinking in my head, what can I do to make this, what can I do to help them? And I'm like, I have an idea. So when I get older, and if I had the power to be a leader, and if I was a leader, I would make food drives for all the homeless people in Delaware, because it's sad to say, but lots of people die because of starvation, because they're homeless, and it just kills me on the inside. And I want to do something about it and not just stand there and watch.
Yes, thank you. Next.
That's a very hard question to answer. I'm not too sure how to answer it. I would have to do a lot more thinking.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for your honesty. Thank you.
Miss Jones, if a person is considered an adult at age 18, why do they have to be 21 to rent a car?
That is also a very good question, John. I believe that they do everything on statistics, which many businesses do. And unfortunately, people that are under 21 tend to be involved in more accidents and can act a little bit more irresponsibly. And that's not true for all 18 to 21-year-olds, of course. We do have one exception to that rule, and that is our active duty military, that we do allow them to rent under the age of 21.
Thank you.
Miss Pitts, why did you pick Jamaica as your location to help?
Well, this is an exciting story. Thank you for that question. So when I was young, we grew up around the Marley family, Bob Marley. Have you all heard of Bob Marley before?
Yeah,
you have?
I don't really know about them, but I heard of them.
Okay, cool. So great music artist, philosopher, and everything else, but he was also a great friend of my father. So we had the opportunity to, you know, we grew up together as our families. And Bob Marley, many of you may not know, the only place he ever called home outside of Jamaica was right here in Wilmington, Delaware. And he lived there on Tatnall Street, and that's where my parents met. When I was in high school, don't judge me, I left to go on tour with Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. And it was the summer of my 10th grade year. And you know, September rolled around. We started school the day after Labor Day in New Jersey. And one day Ziggy was like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be in school?" And I'm like, "No." So he was very upset that I had missed the first week of school and kicked me off the tour and sent me back to school. But that was in the 10th grade. And when I graduated high school, I took the opportunity to go to Jamaica and manage the Bob Marley Foundation, which is where Bob Marley was born and raised. And thousands of tourists come from all over the world to see where Bob came from. It's a beautiful, amazing culture. You know, you don't always have hot water, there's no cable, sporadic electricity, but it was a great way to connect with earth and nature, and it fueled my passion even more to work with underserved kids. Even though we grew up in some poverty and had some issues, I felt like the need in Jamaica was a lot greater, and it was an opportunity for me to go and give children an opportunity to be educated and get access. So like you talked so passionately about doing food drives for people in need, I did school supplies drives from America and shoe supplies. You talked about all the shoes and clothes when you in your prayer, and a lot of children take shoes and clothes and food for granted. And what I love about you children is that you recognize that those are all blessings that we should be really grateful for. So we did shoe drives, school supplies, paper, pens, pencils, and we gave kids the resources to go to school, and those who couldn't go to school, we started educating them, teaching 15 and 16-year-olds how to read and how to write their names, and it really empowered the children. So the family connection gave me the opportunity and inspiration to go, but then I continued to stay for 2 years and have gone back over the years because it just, that passion has fueled me to continue to work with those children. Same passion that I see in you all. So I can't wait to see where that will take you around the world and throughout your community.
Mr. Myers, what quote would you use to describe your life?
Great question.
What quote would I use to describe my life? I think there's a Martin Luther King quote. I can't remember the exact words. It's something like, if you find yourself in a valley, like a bush in a valley, be the best bush that you can possibly be. And if you're on the mountaintop and you're the king of the mountaintop, be the best king that you can possibly be. So wherever you go and wherever you find yourself. You learn in life as an adult, there are a lot of things in your control, but there are a lot of things that are not in your control. So you work on the things that are in your control, and you work to be the best that you can be and to help make people around you just a little bit happier.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I do. Thank you for asking. I couldn't wait. So, how did you all end up on live TV?
I think it had something to do, I remember running for student council, and then I went to I tried to run for the executive. But then, to be honest, I don't know how else I ended up here.
Okay.
Well, same for me, except I didn't try to be in the executive student council. I just wanted to be in student council because I wanted to do something special for the school, and I wasn't sure exactly what, but now at Southern we are running a Ronald McDonald Pop Tab drive, and we are also trying to get more recess equipment for our school. So it's very fun to be in
Recess is very
council.
important.
I agree.
What happened
Yes,
is
I am in student council too, and that's the only other reason why I think I am in the live TV show.
Okay.
Okay, what happened is we started out, well, as you know, Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation works with children.
Yeah.
So we started out the show with children in the Wilmington area and children in our program. I live in Newcastle. I live near Old Newcastle, and our building is in Wilmington. Most of the work that I do with the children in Wilmington and surrounding areas. So Mr. Alan Spiro and I, we decided that we would reach out to Colonial School District children, children in different schools in the area, to start bringing more children in to give them the experience of being on live TV. And they base it on, I think, research papers, or they have to do a research paper, and the ones that do the best research, I think that's how we did it. They bring them on.
I have a question for John, Kyoko, and Tyler. Can you tell me what your favorite book is?
I don't remember the author of this book, but it's called The Akahenten Adventure. It's a 400, almost 500 page long book. Took me about 3 months to read it, but it's probably the best book because my dad's like, all right, you gotta go help out with the baby. I'm like, hold on, I'm still reading my book. 5 minutes later, hold on, still be there. I just got hooked onto that book and I could not stop reading it. And then, since that was the only book in the series, I'm just like, I wish I didn't read it so fast.
Oh.
My favorite book is a book called Dead City, and I'm not too sure what the author's name is, but the book is basically about a girl, and her mother died of cancer, and then she finds out that there are zombies in the city that she lives in, and it's kind of scary, but not that much. And then at the end, she finds her mom as a zombie that saves her from a different zombie that's trying to kill her.
My favorite book is probably Dive Olympic Kid Long Haul. The author is Jeff Kinney, and I just like that book because it's got so many events and like different things in it, and it's just like really fun to read.
I have to agree with Tyler. Kind of like also like the whole series of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, okay. Everything sounds great. I mean, these children they amaze me. They really do. Yeah. You know, and I think if people would take time to listen to the children more, we as adults always try to tell the children what to do. We need to listen. We need to, well, you already know,
yes,
you know, the things that come out of the mouths of children. I mean, they had some great ideas. They might not be able to put them into action right now at their ages, but they can give us adults, you know, some great ideas that we can move forward with. And especially the little one over there with the glasses, and when he was saying he was reading the books.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I agree. They're all brilliant. And I don't think, you know, without you, I want to applaud you as well. I mean, without people like you supporting our children and giving them a voice and a platform, you know, they wouldn't have the opportunity. Yeah.
So all due to.
Yes. Thank you for following your purpose.
Yes. Because if it was up to me, I'd probably be home, laid back, relaxed, watching TV, eating and getting bigger and bigger, right, Jayla? But God always has a purpose and a plan for us. Okay. Okay, going back over.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Gary Johnson. I'm a senior at the University of Delaware, and I actually wanted to propose a question to each of the panelists. If you could time travel and go back to the 4th or 5th grade and tell yourself a few words of wisdom for the future, what would you say?
I'll go ahead and start. When I was in the 5th grade, I actually received straight A's for the full year. And at that time, I got teased for it really badly by the other children in my grade. And I was so upset about it and discouraged with myself. And I said, maybe I shouldn't have, you know, tried so hard. I wish my parents wouldn't have made me done all this work. I wish I could look back at myself in 5th grade and say, no, this is awesome, and, you know, continue to stay on that path. Don't listen to what other people say, because that will, you know, that can be your downfall. Right. Just believe in what you want to do, and you go ahead and go for it.
I'd tell myself in 5th grade that you can change the world, that especially now, there are tremendous opportunities for you to, you know, see, as John spoke about earlier, a homeless person standing outside an ice cream parlor, or see someone who, you know, is being bullied, not being treated right. See someone who maybe isn't acting right, and you can help them. See someone who's disabled, who doesn't have the same abilities that you have, or maybe even someone who's really good at math where you're just good at reading, and you can help each other. And I've learned throughout my life, in the times when I'm helping somebody else, I ultimately end up so much happier for doing that. And there are times when things are really tough, when you'll find as you go through childhood as a student and even as you become an adult, there are good times and bad times, and in the roughest of times, often the way I've pulled myself out is just by being kind to others. So look around yourself and understand that the world as you see it now, you can change it if you believe you can change it.
That's going to be the last question. Great question, Gary. I would tell myself that the glasses are not that bad. I don't remember anything about the 5th grade, but in the 4th grade, I found out that I was visually impaired, which is very late in life to find out that you can't see. I just thought, you know, I wasn't smart and couldn't get the work and had no concept. I mean, it was just a blur. I didn't get it. Everything was passing me by, and it was because I couldn't see. And then when I got glasses, you know, kids were pretty cruel. So I would say, you know, Chandra, define your own beauty, you know, your own greatness. Don't pay attention to what other people are saying about you, because kids will say mean things and they'll bully you. But really focus and pay attention and use education, use this opportunity for learning to really go wherever you want to go in life. Enjoy it. It's not that bad. Stop hating school. It's a great space to be if you own it, own your learning experience, and make the most of it. And the other thing I would say is girls can do anything. So set your standards high and keep on dreaming.
Yes. Okay, I'd just like to thank all of our guests. I think this has been an awesome show. Thank the Colonial School District children, the Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation children, our Happy News Desk with Tavon and Janaya. I mean, wow, it's just a blessing. And it really touches my heart to see children who are brave enough, and they're so calm.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous
I
than
know.
that.
Me too.
And they're calm. Our future leaders, you know? And, you know, we have to save our babies and by any means necessary. And this is a start. And I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you, Aben. Thank you back there. Thank everybody behind the scenes. Thank you. And everybody have a blessed, safe night and a safe trip home. Thank you.